The object of Taxi Chronicles is to allow real riders with real stories, share their experience and enhance your life. So sit back and enjoy the journey. So what we're going to do, what I was interested to talk about is...
That is fucking confusing.
Yeah, don't worry then, Dada. No one's filming you. Yeah? Okay. Dada someone raised a good question earlier on. Yeah, and it was about, do you think if you were born in your mother country...
My question.
Okay, that's what... Oh, right, do you want me to name you now? Shall I name you?
But he's saying I can't speak.
Okay. So
I have no rights. I have no rights. You said I have no rights. It's my question.
Simon, I'm sorry.
What nonsense is that?
You know, if you got all of us in the car, it's just gonna be
But anyway, the question was...
Try to edit this, man. You've been there for a long time.
Ask the question then.
So how much royalties do I get off this?
You get all the royalties you want.
Because it's my question.
Right.
Well, less than half an hour ago, I just asked that question. The question he's asking me.
What's the question now?
You just asked it. Why are you asking me?
I didn't get to finish. I didn't get to start. Yeah?
Go on.
All right.
I want some
So the
royalties
question
anyway.
is, do you think, for those of us who weren't born in the mother country, if you were born there, yeah, and raised there, that your mindset and everything would be different today?
What would you be like?
Yeah, what would you be like?
What would you be like? Would you be any different than you are now?
That's the question. You think your life would be...
It's perspective, isn't it? Because even though you're born there, how long did you stay there?
No. The question
So were you
is...
born there?
I was born here.
No, the question is, if you didn't come here,
Oh, if you didn't come here,
if you didn't come here, and you just grew up in Ghana.
you'd be different.
Yeah, you'd be
So
different.
the
Like,
question I
what-
asked Humphrey was, how does he think his life would have been if he had grown up in Ghana?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Than him coming
Because
here.
I was there for some time now, so like I can
That
see
was
certain
So
things.
one of the things that I think is that you have a different perspective on racism and
Yes.
discrimination. I think you have
They
a
probably
totally
wouldn't see
different...
it.
You don't see it.
You
don't see
they
it.
wouldn't
They
see
don't
it because that concept not there like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
There's no prejudice like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting because I had that conversation with someone the other day. They work in a Nigerian law firm based in England and in the city, and they were saying that he realizes, being born and raised in Nigeria, that a lot of the racist issues he's totally unaware. And when people are saying things or carrying on away, it goes over his head. But someone else who's born and bred here was saying that person doesn't like you because of your race or whatever, or treats you
But they're still not emotionally connected to it because, and that's what it is. It's that emotional connection. Because when I was over there, I'll say certain things. They're like, "Oh, here he goes again." Do you know what I mean?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So I'll say
So
certain
what,
things.
in relation to what? What would
No,
you
just
say?
racism and just get them to understand even what the white privilege thing really means and how they can, you know what I mean, how they see our black experience.
So how do you think your life would have been different, Edwin? Your life, how do you think it would have been different if you would have been raised there? What do you think?
It's difficult.
It's difficult because you weren't born there.
Right. And it's difficult
That's why I put it
because
to Humphrey.
it's perspective.
But then in saying
But
that,
based on your culture now and what you know of your culture,
Yeah.
how do you think your life would have been different if you'd have grown up?
Yeah.
Based on what
Even if
you
you
know
judge it
about
by
your
your
Cousins.
family members.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Your family
so-
they think.
so-
That's
what do you
I think I would have been spoiled. I think my family in around, well, definitely in Ghana are spoiled.
okay.
And then when I say that, because there's a lot of family members abroad. So we got houses as a family.
Right.
We got houses. My grandparents' house is like, I don't know, like something like, I don't know, 20 bedrooms, something stupid like that. And it's like the family house. People who live
how
there,
many wives did your granddad have?
One.
You
But
only had
he
one
had
wife,
children. He had children with other women, 2 other women. So he had, in quote unquote, our terms, they had 3 baby mamas.
Yeah, and how many children in total, do you know?
We told my granddad, I think it's about 15.
Yeah, so the 20 bedrooms sounds reasonable then. No, think about it. If you have 15 children and you have 3 wives, straight away every room's full. Do you see
So
what I mean? And you
financially-
don't even have a guest room. You have a room for guests.
So financially, Ed, you're saying you would have been a lot better off than here, you reckon? That's why you say you would have been
when I say they're spoiled,
Yeah.
So being spoiled means sometimes you don't try to do enough.
Right.
Yeah, so you don't work at your full
Ah,
potential.
it's that classic immigrant thing. Immigrants work harder, they're more motivated than the second, the first generation.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's the fact that if things aren't working for them, they don't have to worry about it because someone's going to send money for them anyway, and they got somewhere to live. They got shelter.
Yeah,
We got these family houses.
Yeah, the land is paid for.
The land, we got land as well. You know,
So
the life is
culture,
different.
really,
So it's all about luxury and travelling. You want to be like something else.
Which
is
if
their
you're saying
problem.
what it would have been like then, that's the difference. That if I'm not working to look after my kids, who's going to look after them? And who's going to look after them in the way
you want them to be looked after.
correct? Do you see what I mean? Whereas if I was in Ghana, I think that there'd be a little bit more of, I'm not working, but you know I can.
I've got my own vegetables I can grow. I've got my own...
Not even that. It's not even that. It's more about auntie such and such or uncle such and such is gonna send money anyway, or they've brought money, or they've sent a barrel over anyway, so there's enough rice in the house. So eating's not gonna be a problem for anyone.
But why would someone send rice to Africa?
Well,
That I don't understand that.
rice is just an example, son. But I'm saying
okay.
that they've sent
They've
a
sent
barrel
something,
of stuff.
Yeah, for you. So that
Right.
you don't have to go
So
out
you
and
don't have to work
for
for
it.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know exactly what you mean.
So the items is not actually the issue. The fact is that there's you've created resources so that people don't have to work.
Going back to the racism thing, what I noticed when I was living in Kenya is that they didn't understand racism. And you got two kind of groups of people when it comes to the Kenyans. The ones who adored white people for everything great about them, and then you had the ones who were like, I don't really like these people, they did this or they did that. And it's not that they're aware of history, they're just aware of they've had bad experiences with them per se. Like their friend may have dated one and it went Pete Tong because and they said this and whatever happened. Did you notice anything like that
What's that?
with racism?
Over there
Yeah,
in Ghana.
or even Kenya?
In Kenya, I mean, racism in Kenya, I think they're slightly more aware. They're slightly more in tune with their identity, because especially like with, I think also with the tribal thing as well. So if I'm coming in, so you know they got the thing about, well, we're not a charity, right? So with Kenyans, if I come in like, oh yeah, I'm coming to do X, Y, and Z, even down to, I met people that even down to certain words I was using, they're quite sensitive to it. They're like, look, we're not a charity. You come in there, but we're not a charity. You know what I'm saying?
So
we're not asking. So that's what I said.
Is
to
that
Ghana,
because
whereas-
that's what you said in Ghana?
No, that's what I said in Kenya.
Really? So
So
was that because you were dealing with the Somali Kenyans?
No, just in general. So, I mean, put it this way, I'm only the person that comes to mind when I'm saying this was a Kikuyu,
Yeah.
right? And she was a journalist. So that's what she's coming with. But whereas
Okay.
if I'm doing that in Ghana, she's like, oh yeah, it's nice, we're welcome, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What else have you got?
Well, she was well travelled, a journalist.
No, she never left the country.
Really?
Never left the country.
And that was her mindset.
That was their mindset.
Well, it's quite honour in that.
Well,
mindset.
yeah. So she's like, and I said, why you like this? And she's like, well, you know, just like, you know, with the Mzungus, they come here, they're thinking just they can come here with what they do, and it's almost like she knew that
There's a hidden agenda.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like some charitable ventures are a front. It's almost like she was aware, but she didn't say that. But it's almost like she was saying, listen, when you're talking to me, be careful about these words, right?
They're trigger words.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So like, I'm like, okay, well then you're being sensitive, really and truly, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, they're still not afraid to still ask you for money when it comes to certain situations.
So regardless of that speech that she does, she will still turn around and ask you for money for other things. Is that what you're saying?
In some respects, she would probably still expect certain things like, okay, well, you know, maybe as a probably more so as a man than anything, than as a foreigner.
Okay, was she looking at you as a man as if like you had some relationship or understanding?
No, as in a man to provide.
Okay, so there was some relationship thing going on between the two of you then?
No, but we were just friends. But it's one of those things whereby, well, she was probably like keen on me.
Okay.
You see what I mean? But I
What do you
wasn't
think
taking
of
it
that,
there.
gents? Look, I'm quite. Look, Ed's asleep.
He's
sleeping.
It's on the mic.
Ed's just sleeping, man. Okay.
He's been working, man.
He's been working hard.
Yeah, he's been working, bro.
Okay.
What are you saying?
No, we're just talking about the whole racism thing.
The whole racism thing in Ghana and Africa in general and Kenya.
I think Kenya's a slightly more.
So what about you,
aware.
Si?
Go on.
Why don't you put that question that you asked us to yourself?
Oh, how I think. Well, yeah, that's a good point. For me, whether you're speaking, whether I brought up in Africa or Jamaica,
Yeah.
I think
Are you
I
thinking
would.
that?
Yeah, there is that danger, even though there's a difference in culture, but the mindset is quite similar. Where I have cousins who were like, gimme, gimme, gimme. You're from a rich country, but then I also have cousins who were on the youth commonwealth, got into politics, became directors of big like alcohol brands and all these kind of things, and they do what they're doing and travel the world and stuff. So for me, if I was brought up, I don't know. I will say this: my sons who live in Kenya,
It's the sewage.
Yeah.
All the water down there, sewage. Disgusting.
yeah, my sons who live in Kenya, I will keep them in Kenya, studying in the private school, and I will as they get older, I bring them over here for long holidays and stuff. But my main thing is to have the discipline and everything that they have out there. Whoa, this is really strong, isn't it? Yeah.
What tunnel was this?
This is Robert High
A
Tunnel.
smelly one.
Sorry, guys, we're just going through a smelly tunnel and I forgot to turn the vent off. But yeah, that's how I look at it, because I had a lot of experience of people asking for things or expecting things when I was in Kenya. In that, I didn't so much in Jamaica. I was surprised that there's quite a few family members never asked me for anything, but there were some who did. And I'm not sure, I suppose it comes down to individual personality, I would have thought, in that aspect. Yeah, it's just one of those things. So who believes that they would find themselves back in Africa living there, or at least living between the two countries?
I definitely.
You would?
100%. 100%.
And why is that?
For me, even though I'm educated here, and I think the UK has sort of done a lot for me. The way the system works and the way I see this African world, I feel like we are just disenfranchised in a different way. And being here, I see my place and the way our country's been treated. I've actually fell out of love with the UK in the system, politics, you know, the typical mindset, even sometimes even our own kind, how we think. So because of that, I feel like I don't feel like it's my home.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something to remind me that I'm a visitor. There's always something that reminds me. I don't feel at home. One foot.
Or your
in
heritage
Ghana.
is not from here in that respect. There's
Uh,
always something to remind you. Because Ed said a good point one time. He said, with the Albanian or Eastern Bloc people, they may be considered foreigners now, but the next generation who speak a plain English with no accent at all of a foreign accent, no one will ever question them, where are you from? Do you see what I mean?
Right.
But then if you think about it, my son's son, my grandson, somebody will always ask him, I said, where are you from?
Yeah.
And he's quite liked, because as everybody knows, my son likes people who are very light complexion.
But they're still asking.
Yeah, but they were still asking, even though he's third generation born here.
Yeah. See? So that's another example. So for me, 1 foot in Ghana, as soon as I step down, I know I'm home.
So is that such an issue for you?
Yes.
That
100%.
someone would say, "Oh, where are you from?"
Oh no, it's not an issue. I'm saying it's one example. So put it this way.
No, because
It's
if you were to ask me, I wouldn't say that, because at the end of the day, even if they ask me that question, I'm obliged to answer because I know I'm not from here. So I just happen
Right.
to be born here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whether they ask, that's a good question for them to ask.
Yeah.
Because I'm not from
It's
here.
a fair question.
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that
Okay.
it's not an issue, but I'm saying it's a reminder. But
I think you're saying it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a catalyst
Yeah.
to
I'm-
thank you, to other things.
to other things. So
Yeah.
it's the same mindset as knowing the fact that you go for a job opportunity to somebody else that's not our kind. We know who's got the advantage. 100%.
Well, that depends on who's employing. Because there's a lot of, since I've come back, there's a lot of black people
That's what I'm saying.
in decent positions now, do you see what I mean? Who are, you know, cheating. Oh, we're good. Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
A lot of the times, right?
When
When
you
I find,
what do you mean exactly
Oh,
by
alright,
decent position?
All right, when I say decent, for
Running their own
instance, let's say,
companies?
well, not even that. You could go to McDonald's now, let's say, I'll use a McDonald's example, and there's likelihood the manager is a black person, when traditionally it used to be the staff were black, but the manager was always white. Now, also, the amount of women I know who are human HR managers, HR means they're sitting on a panel when you're being interviewed. Do you understand? Yeah, and there's also obviously big youth pro schemes for all not just bus drivers. I see, let's say, road workers in the sense of cable pullers.
Yeah.
You've got young black girls doing that now, which surprises me. I don't think they'll be doing it for that long, but and then you've got young guys doing it as well who are black as well. So
Okay. So with that in mind, our question, if you scratch the surface a bit deeper and they're in a higher position, right? So a better place of power, so to speak. Once they're in there, are they still being treated fairly? That's what I would question.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So now you're in there. Are you still being treated fairly for someone that's to your own peer that's not your kind?
But you see,
There's horses and courses.
Yeah, exactly. The thing
Okay.
about all these, the question itself is subjective, and then that part what you brought up is definitely subjective.
Yeah.
Because if you could work in McDonald's and your terms and conditions are terrible, and the people that you work with are terrible, or equally you could work at McDonald's and it's fantastic.
right.
Do you see what I mean? Because the people around you and the terms and conditions of the job are really good. Do you see what I mean?
And
So-
unfairness can happen anyway.
and right, there you go. So you could be, I think, the thing to the difference or the positive part of what Sam was saying there is that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, more people of colour are in positions, in higher positions across the piece.
than it
I
was
think-
10 years
yeah,
ago.
right. The question of are they being treated fairly is another question.
Okay. Let's put it this way then. That's true. So that means, really, on a positive note, we've advanced, right? Or the system is better now for us, right? For me, it's still not good enough. For me, it's still not enough. It just isn't.
Yeah, but it sounds
It
like
just isn't. So
it sounds like
I'm just falling out of love.
You're looking at it from a. If you were meeting your own requirements, let's say, I don't know, financially, making a certain amount every month,
Yeah.
would you still?
Yeah, if you was
have
a
this
boxer, would you? Or a boxer?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Would you still have the view that
he's
you
a
have?
millionaire, multi-millionaire.
Because I find a lot of people that make these comments, it's because they haven't managed to reach a place where they're attaining or getting the type of financial reward they feel they deserve and want. They feel they haven't obtained it, so therefore they think,
okay.
oh, this country's not good.
Well,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
The answer to that is no, because again, I have, like I said, fairly. So for me, what's fairly is even if you're still getting the money that you feel you deserve, another person that's not your kind in the same position is more likely to be getting more, right? Or you might have to work slightly harder. That still stands. So I'm saying that because of conversations I've had with people
Can I ask you
that's earning
something?
a certain amount of money.
But
You know what I'm saying?
Is that also based on
So it's
negotiation?
not really about the number.
is that also based on negotiation? Because women, the feminists complain about equal pay, but the argument is women are more agreeable and men are more disagreeable.
That's
so if
true.
I'm being employed and someone
Yeah.
says you're going to do that, I said, bollocks for that, mate. If you want me, you got to do this. Pay me this. And the woman
Yeah.
would go, okay.
Okay, but that's the
Do you see what I mean?
Okay, but that's the gender issue.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that regardless of the race, people may not, you've also got different cultures
Right.
or mindsets where people may not realise that they need to be more aggressive in an interview.
Okay,
or,
right. Okay,
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying
so-
it's definitely the case.
So let's say, right, so now it's funny you're using the word aggressive now. So let's say, again, negotiation, right? Now, you got a black person negotiating with a set of words, and you got a white person negotiating with the same set of words. Do you think the result's going to be the same? Do you think?
Oh, I can't comment.
No,
It's what Ed says about subjective.
I know,
but
I know,
I will
know.
say this.
But that's why I asked the question, because when you say negotiation, we're talking about you negotiating as you, right? And then somebody else for the same role, and somebody else negotiating, and they're using your words exactly the same way. Do you think the result will be the same? Because really and truly, you're doing the same job in the same way.
All
Is
right,
the
but-
result
all right.
the same?
Well, it
Especially
depends.
if the person empowered to choose, it's not your kind. Are they
Okay.
going to treat you fairly?
If I'm a white man with loads of tattoos all over myself,
Tattoos got
yeah,
to do with it.
and I'm giving an example,
Okay.
then where someone may take me just as aggressive, if not more, as a big black man with lots of muscles, because there's maybe a stereotype in the image of like I'm a heavy metal or biker kind of person if I was going for a job. But going back to the Africa question, is my reasons for moving to Africa were on the basis of I saw business opportunity, not because I had a problem with the racism here.
No, but
And in seeing business opportunity, I thought I saw also other advantages. But I did see, as somebody from the Caribbean, that I do not have any direct ties to Africa. So what happened, obviously, is that certain African, don't like to say African, I said certain Kenyan tribes or groups of people accepted me, and others didn't. Now, whether they accepted me because I came there with quite a bit of money, or whether they accepted me because I'm really a nice guy, yeah, I don't know. I'm not them. But those are perks. But what I did notice about South Africa, that there's none of this people being pulled over because they're black. And that's what really made me feel at home and thinking, consider
Right.
South Africa as a place to live.
yeah, so the last time I got pulled over by because I was black, I booked my ticket within 2 months because of that. Now the thing is, you're right. There are opportunities there, and you will see that. But that's also down to the entrepreneur in you, right? That's another thing. So if you're somebody that is not you don't have that flair, can you go to Africa and survive in the same way? Because really and truly, if you go to a foreign land, you have to do that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because
But you have to be hungry. And
well, you have to be hungry, but it's what you do with the hunger is another thing. It's like, it's down to, how you're going to hunt, what tools you're going to use. Right? So we can all be hungry, but it's like, right, well, you see what I'm saying? Once you have to, there's some of us that are ready to make our own tools, some that are looking to steal the tools or buy the tools or whatever it is. It's just how you hunt.
so, Dado, what do you think? Would you migrate back to Nigeria, or would you do split time between the two countries?
Yeah, I would like to do split time, definitely. Yeah.
For me, split time's the way to go. Why would you want to do split time, and what kind of thing would you see yourself doing?
I'll probably still be doing what I'm doing now in terms of IT. But yeah, definitely I'd like to have my foot back in the motherland, man. Definitely, because that's where I'm from. I just happened to be born here. Do you know what I mean? Because my parents came here.
Would you,
My ties is yeah.
if you could do it all again, would you have arranged that your parents, obviously hypothetically speaking, took you back to Nigeria from a very young age and
Yeah.
schooled you in Nigeria and then
Yeah.
brought you back here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there was even a time when my dad threatened to send me back. When I was, I don't know,
It's funny how that's a threat, isn't it?
maybe 13 or 12,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And looking back, I wish he did,
Yeah, it's funny because,
because I would have spent a few years there,
Yeah.
really got to grips with everything,
Yeah.
learned about
yeah.
who I am,
Yeah.
got to learn more about my culture and everything, and then I would have come back here if I wanted to.
My friend's done that with her son, and she threatened him, and he still didn't listen. And she just took him there, and I think this is about 3 years ago. He's more grateful now. He didn't like the idea at first, but he's more grateful now.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she's left. Yeah, he's there. He's school and all of that.
Okay.
You know.
Does okay? That's interesting. That's interesting.
I want royalties on this.
Well, you're the boom mic man. You're holding the mic.
But just going back to that point, very quickly, what we were talking about regarding the racism. Now go straight.
Tell her you get a ticket.
Straight. You do the next right anyway. Straight now. I'm disappointed about that. I think that.
What are you disappointed about?
No, it's just a point.
It's interesting how we view racism in different places. This is where that whole thing about racism being a system comes in. Because if you're in Africa, for example, and you're the majority, you're not going to feel that racism that we feel here. Do you see what I mean? When you turn around, there's black people everywhere. Black people's the judge, black person's the taxi driver, black person's the owner of the shop.
You might just experience prejudice.
You might experience prejudice, tribal prejudice.
But they call that, they see that as racism as well.
It's prejudice more so, isn't it? But you might experience that, but not that what we, you have gay people. Gay person made a comment to you before about minorities have to stick together, meaning them and black people have to stick together. And my response was,
why?
Well, hold on. When you look at me, you can see I'm black. When I look at you, I don't know you're gay. You with me?
And not just that, when there's a problem between you and I, you're suddenly white.
Well, that's the other side of it, isn't it?
And I'm suddenly black.
And that's time for that. That's the point. The point is the construct. The racism as a construct, and so that's why when in those other countries, in black country, you may feel the prejudice, but not the racism itself. So I think that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah. Would you have businesses overseas? Would you live there permanently?
Yeah, if I knew what I was going to do when I get to Ghana, I'd move tomorrow.
Yeah? Is it?
Yeah, because you go, it's 5, isn't it?
And the reason why I'd go is because I think I could. But this is going to sound this for me from working in the UK as well. But it's the conditions. But I think if I can find out what I'm going to do, and I have money, then I'd move there because I think it's a better standard of living.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, you know what?
But a lot of your in-laws have moved already, haven't they?
Yeah.
Even I had a brethren, you might even know him. So he used to live in my block. He moved, born and bred here, just gone there, just moved. He used to do flyers and stuff like that. He said all he needs is a stable internet connection. Yeah. He's been over there for the past, I think, 8 years. Just up and left with his missus and his job.
Right, there you go. And so if you're working a job like that, it's fine.
Which you made me kind of remember, actually, just going back to your question side, my actual reason for going there is I feel like I could transfer something back into my community in Africa. The whole racism thing was motivated me to actually do it in the time I have. That's what I'm saying. So it's like it's almost like, I don't like this, I'm out. But really, truly, what I want to do is not because of what I experience here. Okay. I want to do it. It's I'm like, right, okay then. If you start because you're doing something, I don't really want to go there and look for a job. I want to go there and create jobs. That's why I want to go. But what I experience here is making me say, let me go now, because do you know what I mean? Why wait? That's the real reason I'll live over there. And having said all that, I'll probably still juggle back and forth anyway.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.